Welcome to Mobility at Work. This podcast is brought to you by SYNDES Technologies. SYNDES is the leading enterprise mobility strategist in Southeast Asia, and we help you to manage, secure and control company-wide devices in a single dashboard. Continue to listen. Okay, we've spent a season talking about mobile device management and unified endpoint management, UEM, with the developers of Hexnode, UEM. Of course, these two systems can exist without mobile devices or endpoints respectively. Last episode, you got to hear about work devices of the past, so let's go into detail about the present. Some of our clients might not adopt a bring your own device policy for various reasons. When we at SYNDES propose a mobile device for these clients to use, we choose devices running on Android and iOS. The device can be rugged or non-rugged. Android calls the latent knowledge worker devices, while Apple has yet to release a rugged device. For this episode, let's compare the two types of devices and what situation call for a certain type of device. I'll start with non-rugged or knowledge worker devices. These devices are mostly the same as the ones we use every day, but we set up work profiles to turn them into work devices. Android has curated a list of devices that they recommend for work use with the Android Enterprise Recommended label. These devices have varied price ranges and enterprise features like NFC, but what they all have in common as identified by Android is the best security feature and constant updates to protect your business privacy. However, it's not a must for us to use an Android Enterprise Recommended device. As for Apple, given that they develop their own devices and focus on the flagship market, their selection is much more limited and comes with a higher price point than Android devices. I'll get to how people choose between the non-rugged Apple and Android devices later. So what about rugged devices? Currently, exclusive to device powered by Android, the design philosophy of rugged devices is all about resilience against harsh environments. They may not have the best processors, but they have the best military-grade protection and work functionality. They have an IP68 rating or similar, which makes them highly resistant to water and dust, and comes with a shockproof cases that allows them to survive drops up to 1.5 meters. They may also come with additional features like extra buttons you can program to do anything immediately, such as push to talk or opening up an app. Glove users don't have to worry too, as some devices come with tactile buttons and enhanced touch sensitivity. Best of all, they are built for a long battery life, so employees can work with the devices continuously for an entire shift, and replacing a worn-out battery is easy compared to non-rugged devices that may have non-replaceable batteries. As you can tell, rugged devices are commonly associated with business use, right? Their predecessors, the rugged versions of Personal Digital Assistant (PDAs), are known as Enterprise Digital Assistants. Our favorite rugged devices are from Samsung X Cover and Tab Active series, and they are our go-to recommendation for any business requiring rugged devices. With so many choices for work devices, how do we decide what's the best for our business? The industry and the work environment of the business is the first thing to look at when deciding between rugged or non-rugged devices. It may be overkill for some industries to use rugged devices. If you're just looking for enhanced protection, using a rugged case will do the trick with an entry-level device. While non-rugged flagship devices do have similar IP rating to rugged devices, rugged devices will usually prevail despite the lower power specifications with an affordable price point and extra features tailored for industrial work. The next step is choosing between work devices running Android or iOS. Kindly reminds you of choosing between a PC and Mac, right? For starters, just like Macs, the variety of iOS devices is much less than Androids. Next, all the iOS devices don't have expandable storage and you have to pay much more for increased storage. If you need plenty of storage but not a high-end features, some Android entry-level devices coupled with a high-capacity micro SD cards will do the trick. Apps are another factor. While the apps of the Google Play Store outnumber that Apple App Store has more higher quality apps due to the stringent checks. Finding decent apps with the App Store would be easier than Google Play. However, Apple requirements pose a barrier for businesses who want to develop custom apps for their work devices. To distribute these apps, they must be a part of the Apple Developer Enterprise Program. On the other hand, Android allows side loading of in-house apps that can be distributed and updated through the device management console. Speaking of updates, you might take into account the more consistent update schedule of iOS compared to Android, which varies by device. For those who want to make their devices look exclusive to their businesses, Android is more versatile in customization than iOS. Lastly, is a matter of integration with prior devices in the workplace. If your workplace uses mostly Macs or MacBooks with iCloud, embracing iOS is probably a no-brainer. This is the case for Android if they mostly use Google-related services. After settling on an operating system, how do we choose among the devices on offer? This part is not unlike choosing a device for personal use. Do you need fingerprint authentication or NFC? Some devices have features that others don't. What will your employees be doing every day with their devices? If you need to use an intensive app for work, then go for a device that tolerates demands. Finally, thanks to advancement in device management solutions, we don't have to choose between either an entire fleet of Android or iOS devices. Most solutions have cross-platform support if for whatever reasons your businesses needs both types of devices. Go for the best of both worlds. To recap, I've just explained the differences between rugged and non-rugged or knowledge worker devices and how we can choose between these two types of devices and between Android and iOS. There are so many factors when it comes to picking out the right devices for your business. Therefore, don't rush to figure out what's best for what you're working on. 2 words for you before wrapping up this episode: choose wisely. Thank you for listening to Mobility at Work. Do check out our website, SYNDES.biz, and follow us on social media for more content about managing your business with technologies. Thank you. Bye.